Wake that ass up.
Early in the morning.
The Breakfast Club.
We are the Breakfast Club. Let's get in some front page news. Now, in sport, the UConn Huskies win the NCAA Women's Basketball Championship. They beat South Carolina 82-59.
No, UConn deserves it, though. Salute the Paige Beckers, you know what I'm saying? Like, especially
They balled out.
with all the injuries that she dealt with, you know, when she first got to UConn, for her to end her career in UConn with a championship, dropping the clues bombs for the UConn.
Yeah, they balled out yesterday. Now, also tonight, Florida plays Houston at 8:50 for the men's NCAA tournament.
Man, I wish I cared. I really do wish I cared about men's college basketball.
Why you don't care?
I just don't. I haven't
not
for a few
exciting
years.
anymore?
No, just the women's. I mean, at least for me, women's college basketball has just been better.
More entertaining.
Yeah.
Too.
Yeah. What's up, Morgan?
Hey, good morning, y'all. Happy Monday. How you feeling?
Morning.
Good.
All right, let's. Oh, okay, we a little delayed, but let's get into it then. Okay, U.S. stock futures are plunging, y'all, giving an indication of what may be to come today, this week. I mean, we will see what's going to happen on Wall Street. So on Sunday, President Trump said he wasn't aware of what was in store for the week, but he claims the U.S. is stronger as a result of his reciprocal tariffs. Let's take a listen to those comments from President Trump.
Now, what's going to happen with the market, I can't tell you, but I can tell you our country has gotten a lot stronger. And eventually, it'll be a country like no other. It'll be the most dominant country economically in the world.
So the president didn't hesitate to blame previous leaders for the reason why he felt the need to implement the tariffs. As for the market, the Dow Jones Industrial, S&P 500, and NASDAQ futures fell all roughly 4% on Sunday. The Dow saw back-to-back losses over 1,500 points for the first time last week, while the S&P took a 6% drop Friday, the worst since March of 2020, and which, by the way, was when the pandemic started. The market was slammed following continued concerns Trump has ignited a global trade war in regards to his new tariffs, and the president claims hundreds of billions of dollars are pouring into the U.S. monthly as a result of the tariffs. I'm not sure how that goes considering the tariffs just started last week, but yeah. So meanwhile, Secretary of State Marco Rubio, he's rejecting claims that the world's economies are crashing because of President Trump's sweeping tariffs. Speaking Friday at a NATO business meeting in Brussels, Rubio said markets are crashing because they rely on the stock values of companies tied to production methods that harm the U.S. He added businesses just need to know what the rules are, and once they do, they'll adjust, especially if they're operating in America. Let's take a listen to Secretary of State Marco Rubio.
Their economies are not crashing, are reacting to a dramatic change in the global order in terms of trade. As long as they know what the rules are going to be moving forward, and as long as that's set and you can sustain where you're going to be, the markets will adjust.
I still don't understand this. So they say they're doing this because they want to bring manufacturing back to America, right?
Yes.
Right.
And we all know it costs too much to manufacture things here in America, and we also know that in the next 5 to 10 years, all those jobs they're talking about bringing because of manufacturing here are going to be replaced by AI anyway.
There is a strong possibility of that. This is a crazy thing.
Strong possibility. That's what
I cannot. Well, yeah, I cannot report the future. I can report what is happening, but yes, that does seem to be the direction we are headed in. In fact, Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick, he says the power of the U.S. does need to be reset. That's what he's calling it. Appearing on CBS's Face the Nation, Lutnick said the new global tariffs put in place by President Trump were to address a national security issue, and he also said the focus will be on companies that want to be here. So let's take a listen to Howard Lutnick.
If we had a warship, we can't fly a plane. We can't build our own planes. We don't have our own semiconductors. This is what the president is here to fix for America. Trillions and trillions of dollars, you heard the president speak about it, are coming to invest in America. This is the economy of the world. We are the consumer of the world.
So it's seemingly that, they're ripping off the Band-Aid and it's just that initial hurt. When that Band-Aid rips off, that's a seemingly, but hopefully, now that the wound, as the president, what did he say? He compares it to medicine. So maybe we could get some Neosporin or something on it and things will start to heal up after, this Band-Aid has been ripped off.
Hey, listen, I hope so. I hope that's the case, but it don't. Every economist I talk to don't know what the hell going on. So
yeah, 90 days is what I'm being told. We will start to see what truly is happening. I've already started to see stuff within the week. Gas alone is going up. I'm noticing that. So, we will continue to watch the market. We'll continue to see what happens as these tariffs sweep and how they impact us. So that's your 6 a.m. front page news. At 7, we will talk about the Trump protests that happened over the course of the weekend.
All right. And everybody else, get it off your chest. 800-585-1051. If you need to vent, phone lines are wide open. Again, 800-585-1051. Let us know how your weekend was. Phone lines are wide open. It's the Breakfast Club. Good morning. Morning, everybody. It's DJ NV, Jess Hilarious, Charlamagne the Guy. We are the Breakfast Club. Let's get back to some front page news. Now, we got to congratulate the UConn Huskies. They won the NCAA Women's Basketball Championship yesterday. They beat South Carolina 82-59.
they beat the Cox. They beat my Cox, man.
Mm-hmm.
And they did.
So what is say the whole name, yo? Because I can't even take the
Game
serious
Cox.
because
The South Carolina Gamecocks, but that's what we say. We say the Cox. Go
they
Cox.
beat my Cox.
They
Like, come
beat
on,
the Cox.
that's so
They beat my
stupid.
Cox. You know what I mean? But I do want to say congratulations to the UConn Huskies, because if you've been following Paige Becker's story, man, you know that she had, a series of injuries, at the beginning of her college career that set her back a couple of years. So to see her bounce back the way that she has to win a championship, can't do nothing but salute that young lady, man.
Yeah, they played ball last night. Now, also, Florida takes on Houston at 8:50 tonight. What's up, Morgan?
Hey, what's going on is what happened over the weekend, okay? A lot of protests across the country protesting Trump, okay? So over 1 million people took part in anti-Trump protests on Saturdays. Now, rallies were held in all 50 states as well as around the world in response to the Trump administration's actions. Now, organizers of the hands-off protests say they have 3 demands: an end to the billionaire takeover and rampant corruption of the Trump administration, an end to slashing federal funds for Medicaid, Social Security, and other programs working people rely on, and an end to the attacks on immigrants, trans people, and other communities. Reverend William Barber II, who is an infamous reverend, was among those early on in speaking on the program. Let's take a listen to his comments.
When Trump and Musk and Johnson and their minions are signing unconstitutional executive orders, unconstitutionally firing people, trying to pass an unjust budget. When they are doing this, we must say, take your hands off of our democracy.
Texas Congressman Al Green was also in attendance. He had some plans to impeach Trump. The Texas Democrats spoke at the anti-Trump rally in D.C. this weekend, telling protesters that Trump doesn't deserve to be president. Let's take a listen to Congressman Al Green.
I understand that he is a Goliath, but my friends, for every Goliath, there is a David. This David is going to bring articles of impeachment against you within the next 30 days.
Me and Al Green have already had this conversation when he was on the Breakfast Club. When he was here on the Breakfast Club, such a waste of time. They've already impeached Trump twice. It's done nothing. Like,
what does impeachment really mean? Because
nothing.
It's just paperwork, because they never leave office. It's not like they leave.
It is a paperwork thing. So Green added that Trump can't be trusted with liberty and justice for all, nor can he be entrusted with government of the people, by the people, and for the people. So thousands of people, again, as I mentioned, gathered in D.C., and then there were similar rallies held across major cities, including New York, Boston, Chicago, and L.A. Well, speaking of L.A., in case you missed it, that California, the former vice president that we used to have out of California, Kamala Harris, she spoke last Thursday at the Leading Women Defined Summit in Dana Point, California. She said a lot has changed in the past few months since she was defeated at the ballot box by President Donald Trump. But in many ways, some of it is not coming as much of a surprise to her. So let's take a listen to former Vice President Kamala Harris.
There were many things that we knew would happen. Many things. I'm not here, so I told you so.
She said, I'm not here to say I told you so. She said progress and policies that ultimately led to progress have been rolled back, which we are seeing, and a sense of fear has washed over so many in the country. And she said, as a result, we are seeing people stay quiet. We are seeing organizations stay quiet. We are seeing those who are capitulating to clearly unconstitutional threats. And in the end, Harris stressed that the whole world is watching and noted courage is contagious. So as you're saying, what you're saying,
too,
Charlamagne,
I want to say to the VP, I have no problem with her saying "I told you so," because that's what politics is, letting people know what your opponent is doing wrong. And if I told you what was going to happen, maybe you'll listen to me next time.
well, she said, I didn't come to say I told you so, but you know how that goes. When you actually saying I told you so. Let's take a listen to former President Obama's audio. He had some audio surfacing or video surfacing on social media that basically was like, what would have happened if he would have done this? So let's listen to Obama.
Imagine if I had done any of this. Let me I just want to be clear about this. Imagine if I had pulled Fox News' credentials from the White House press corps. You're laughing, but no, this is what's happening. Imagine if I'd said to law firms that were representing parties that were upset with policies my administration had initiated, that you will not be allowed into government buildings.
Yeah, so this is real, guys. In case you guys missed it, I'm not sure who all listens and whatnot or follows me, but that's the truth. My White House press credential has essentially been revoked, and it is true. I'm not sure how or why. I can't gain access to the White House like I used to. But
they just pulled it from you? No reason why?
Yes. It was like I was just not on the list, not receiving emails, and I've been trying to, I can't even get in.
Because you work for the Black Information Network.
I know.
The Black Information Network.
You can say it's the Black Information Network if you want to, and it is. But it's not like he's loving on y'all either. So there's that too.
Damn.
So I'm just saying.
But that is probably why though. I mean, especially when you look at Pete Hegseth and you look at all of the books that he just removed from the the military library, if I'm not mistaken, and all of those books are Black books about sexuality.
They're also talking about rolling back initiatives at the Smithsonian's, calling the National African American Museum of History and Culture, saying that that's anti-American and anti-ideology of America. So it's just kind of crazy. I just want you guys to pay attention to what's going on. Make sure you get straight. You know what I mean? Like get right. Get right with whoever your maker is, and get right and make sure you are in good standing as a citizen. Period.
And I want to say one more thing about Obama. I understand what Obama was trying to say, but he should have made it really personal and said, can you imagine if me as a black man had done anything Trump has done? Because when he made it about Democrats, actually, that's what we've been trying to imagine. Yeah, let's imagine if Democrats actually thought outside the box and dared Republicans to do something about it. Democrats are still stuck in a right and wrong way of doing things. All that self-restraint and doing things the so-called right way has gotten them nowhere. And there's a bunch of examples we could use to imagine if Obama or any Democrat, showed some political courage and the will to do what they know is right, regardless of what the backlash from Republicans will be. So yes, we have imagined that a lot of times.
And the Republican Party thinks that what they're doing is right. They think that, ripping the Band-Aid off and it's going to be a little painful, but in the long run, that's going to be a beautiful, that's going to heal up real nicely.
So imagine if Democrats actually did what was right and dared Republicans to do something about it. So when Obama says imagine, we've all been trying to imagine if Democrats showed some political courage and the will to do what they know is right, regardless of what the backlash from Republicans will be. We've imagined that.
Mm-hmm.
All right, y'all. Well, we'll continue to imagine and we'll continue to experience what's going on for real, in real life. That's your front page news. Follow me on socials at Morgan Media, MorgynMedia. And for more news coverage, make sure you're following at Black Information Network. Download the free iHeartRadio app and visit us at BINnews.com. Thank you. Happy Monday.
Morgan.
Thank you, Morgan.
Wake that ass up.
Early in the morning.
The Breakfast Club.